Welcome back to another episode of Born Again Bowhunting Podcast. On this week's episode, we get the Siman Brothers on.
Shoo!
So how's it going tonight? We got Caleb and Issac.
Mm-hmm. It's good. It's going good.
Yeah, here we are. Made the journey down here.
Yeah, thanks for joining us in studio.
Yeah,
We really
they're in
appreciate
studio
that.
with us.
We're semi-local.
Awesome studio,
40
by
minutes.
the way.
Or 37 minutes.
Oh, that's not too bad.
No,
not bad.
no.
Cool.
I think this is the biggest in-house podcast that we've had, right?
We picked
believe
up
so.
we picked up 2 new chairs. Don't forget to tell the
Yeah, so
I like the
Shout out
table.
to Marketplace.
shout out Facebook Marketplace. The lady actually dug them out of her shed and then apologized for how bad the finish was coming off, and then she just gave them to us.
Oh, you didn't pay for it.
No, your glasses
Wow.
are a little crooked.
Thank you, buddy.
Dude, that's awesome. I didn't know that.
His headphones.
His
I
glasses were-
can't talk and turn my head at the same time. So,
Yeah, you gotta. It's hard.
Yeah.
yeah.
I honestly don't be afraid to move the mic. Like,
Yeah.
get comfortable with it. It's not gonna matter.
We better over here? We good?
Yeah, you're good.
What's the need to do with these headphones?
Your,
Like smushing
your
my
ears are
glasses?
crooked is what the
That's
deal
what
is.
it is.
Your one lens is like significantly.
Shoot.
Is this one actually like going to be on a video?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're in
oh,
it.
yeah.
We YouTube.
Cool.
We're in it. Yeah.
Well, you filmed one in Indiana, and I never seen it.
Did we?
Did we film it, though? We didn't have these cameras.
So,
Yeah, you had the cameras going.
We did film it. When we got around to it, I think it was one of those times where you were decided to focus on hunting films. We had the film, and we just decided to just start when we all decided to split up the.
So what happened was like, yeah, we had some issues.
We decided we were so deep in things that
Other
we needed to
content.
edit and get out that we decided to just start when.
I dropped the ball. Is the story.
You guys need interns. That's why people have
It's
interns.
like literally, we got just so busy with so much content. Like anybody
that.
that's out there, like that produces, they'll understand what we're talking about.
yeah.
You get like 1 or 2 weeks behind, you are done.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and it
How's
was
that mule deer hunt coming, Isaac?
It's coming out in July.
so,
We did the wait a year on that one.
Yeah. We don't usually do that, but
well. So we basically just restarted. So like anything in the Indiana trip, I feel bad because like our quality just wasn't there. But like this coming year, we're gonna podcast every night. We're gonna be cranking out daily footage from that trip. So it's like,
Yeah, we actually have the cameras figured out now.
and now we have
this year it'll
The
look
other-
a lot better.
The other thing is we have the team to do it now. Before, like it was just all me.
Mhm.
So I mean, it's hard for one guy.
Tell me about it.
So
No, they helped me out, but we were talking about on the way down here. We're like, man, maybe we had like too many beer cans on the table or something because the video never came out.
No,
no, I think it was just me. I just dropped the ball. But this one, 100% will be on.
I didn't do my makeup.
No,
Yeah, dang.
you guys look good.
Cromer did his for the both of you. So
I did, yes.
The good looking man.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, why don't you guys introduce yourselves and then we'll get into the icebreaker. Tell the people where you're from, what you guys do, your brand, etc.
Do you want to go? Or
No,
me?
you can go for it.
So I'm Caleb, and this is Isaac from Siman Brothers Outdoors. This is the third podcast technically that I've recorded with you guys.
Yeah.
I think.
Awesome.
So,
Yeah.
I was there in the background. I had one line when Joey did his bankrupt podcast, which got scored officially, by the way, and it was
What did it
just
go?
under 200.
Just
I think-
under.
Yeah, it netted. I think it netted like 196, something like that. It actually netted where he thought it was, but
How does that deer not go over 200 inches?
because it's 12 inches wide.
Yeah, I don't
Really?
know if you saw it in person. It's such a compact little frame.
Gotcha.
It's
You could hold it just like
no,
this.
No,
See,
it's
at
not.
Just with
least-
so many points.
we wanted him to bring it to Indiana,
But he
and he was
wouldn't
going
do it.
to,
He
and then
was
he was like, "I don't want to leave it." I know,
Yeah,
and
he's
then I
afraid.
understood.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, man, I want to see it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So he's had it at our house twice now, and then we had it at the measure off a couple weeks ago, or no, a couple months ago now,
Yeah, February.
February. But it was officially measured at the measure off for Medina County hunters, and I think it went like 196 net.
Yeah, then
what
it
did it gross?
It grossed 190.
It only had a couple inches.
Oh,
of
wow.
It didn't even gross 200.
Nope, didn't gross
Nope.
200.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
For everybody listening to this podcast, they're like, "What buck are you guys talking about?"
Probably should do like a little clip of it.
Well, if you're on the
His
YouTube
pictures
video,
are amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah, his pictures are
yeah, if you're
amazing.
watching the YouTube video, old Jerry will plug you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll
Way to
throw
go,
one
Jerry.
up.
But
A boy.
yeah. All right, we got
Yeah,
off
yeah,
topic.
anyway,
Go back.
anyway.
Go
A
back.
little bit off topic.
So
That got derailed quick, boys.
that's what we do.
Yeah, we're 5
yeah.
minutes into this one.
Yeah, that's gonna happen a lot tonight. But
That's all right.
So basically, there's 4 of us, the Siman Brothers, and we started Siman Brothers Outdoors in 2009, I think it was. Just YouTube videos, and we didn't actually have any plan back then. We just made hunting videos and put them on the internet, and we were filming with tapes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've just been doing that. We have a big family farm, not big, but a nice sized family farm north of here, and it's where most of our adventures happen. But we've started traveling a lot in the last 5 or 6 years. Isaac spent, how many days was it west of the Mississippi last year?
I think I was 45 days.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, how many animals did you harvest like out west?
I
Did
harvested
you bury mule deer?
a bear and a mule deer last year, then a mule deer the year before. So
Gotcha.
three animals so far.
You had 4 bucks on a bear last year,
Yep, 4 different bucks in 4 different states.
and you were at full draw on a
Stone
fifth one.
cold killer.
Yeah, almost shot a little guy in Pennsylvania. So that would have been 5.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
man.
That's awesome.
And this year we're pretty much doing the same.
Yeah.
Just
We're-
secured some tags for Montana, so we'll be going to Montana in the spring and the fall this year.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going to be pretty run ragged. We have 3
Oh, yeah.
turkey camps coming up. We just got back from trout camp. We're going to do a big surf fishing trip, and then deer season is just going to be wild like it was last year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't
Hopefully
wait.
we'll be able to meet up with you guys a
I
couple
can't wait.
times, but
Yeah,
at
we
least
will.
Indiana for sure.
We will
Yeah.
for
Yep.
sure. Yeah.
I really have my eye on Pennsylvania again, but we got the timing's not good for that.
Gotcha.
So that when he was there was the week after we came back.
Yeah, the
weekend-
way they do their archery and gun season, it's hard to sneak in there for an archery only hunt, especially if you want to get there not on the weekends when it's super busy, because they have a muzzleloader
Well, yeah.
antlerless season.
And then you can't even hunt Sunday.
Yeah, and they have a muzzleloader bear season that sits right in the middle of the rut, so it's
Yeah.
kind of hard to get there for a bow only trip.
Yeah.
I do want to go up there and actually hunt bears with the bows is what I want to do, because you saw more bears than bucks.
See, that'd be insane.
Yeah, so 3 bears in 3 days. One of them in archery range.
Like
but,
within bow range.
Yep, I was there 3 days after bear season. Wow. Oh, I could have had a
That'd be
big.
sweet.
Jerry's
black
over
bear.
here drooling.
That'd be
The footage is actually pretty sweet.
I
Yeah.
think
I
I've
don't
seen.
I seen the
The,
videos.
the one
Yeah.
thing that sticks out the most is there was a tiny little buck rub on a cedar tree of some kind, and the bear walked up to it, smelled it, and then like yogied it with his back.
Yeah, rubbed his back right on
put
this
his
rub.
head on it, and the was rubbing on it for 5 minutes, and then just took off walking.
Huh.
Yeah, it was pretty.
He didn't like
pretty
the
cool
stank
experience.
of that buck.
And I was not prepared to see any bears that trip, so I was camping a couple 100 yards from where I was hunting in a little tiny tent by my truck. So it was kind of exciting to camp that night because I knew there was a bear within a couple 100 yards.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think we're here to talk about turkeys.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah.
That's our podcast, man. All right, so go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was going to just go into the icebreaker.
All I was going to say for anybody that's not from around here, the Siman Brothers are just north of us. We're in northeastern Ohio. They're only like 20 minutes, 30 minutes from us.
Yeah, we met because Matt was encroaching on our property.
Yeah. So we met because I was hunting the same deer that they were hunting and
Yeah.
vice versa.
Like, who's this guy?
But then
Cheap.
I got
But yeah.
I got kicked out, so it's all good. Nobody's allowed hunting that
What
anymore.
goes around comes around. Actually, for $5,000, you can
Yeah.
hunt it
Yeah.
for 2 weeks
Yeah.
now.
No,
We could say we could do a whole podcast on that situation, but that's a conversation for this fall, probably.
But yeah, let's get into the icebreakers and then we're going to
Yeah.
talk turkey hunting.
So since we had you guys on last time, we kind of changed up our intros and stuff. So we got some icebreaker questions. So I don't care who wants to go first, but we'll just bounce it one to the next. So the first one is like during hunting season, what's your go-to drink? Coffee, energy drink, water, pop, you name it. What's your go-to?
For me, it's just coffee. Coffee.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Black creamer?
Hunting at home. Yeah, I like creamer, but it's black when I'm hunting out west because we don't carry the creamer around.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Too much
coffee.
weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, too much weight to carry a bottle creamer around.
Yeah.
Black coffee until about noon. It's water from noon to 6, and it's Busch Light after 6.
Nothing wrong with that.
That's just the way it is.
Question number 2 is what your guys' current bow setup is.
Ooh.
Like what bow you're shooting, you can go into a little bit
A
of
little bit of
specs
details,
too.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll let Caleb talk about his because his
2016 Hoyt Carbon Element, I believe it is. Carbon Riser is Element. 70 pounds. Shoot Easton arrows. I got an HHA 1 pin, and I haven't changed my setup in 3 or 4 years, and I don't plan on it.
Yeah, Caleb's infamous for finding a bow that he likes. And that's what he shoots. Shoots it well.
Yeah.
Shot a laser tech, a Hoyt laser tech before that for 10 years. So 10 years of that,
Wow.
and then I moved on to the Element. I mean, I know we have big arguments amongst our guys and groups. We have guys that buy new bows every year. Oh, technology. They were killing bison with, stone points. So
Yeah.
like my bow's
You got a good point.
8 years old and it shoots 289 feet per second. I mean, what
Faster than mine.
what do I need to change? I mean, it kills deer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I shoot a Matthews VXR, so whatever year that was, a couple years old.
Couple years old, yeah.
And actually, Cromer helped me set it up last year. And I'm going to be recruiting him for more help because I got to get a new string on it. I got to get a new arrow set up before I go to Montana. So that's going to be this summer's project, big
I don't know if
time.
you guys saw me carrying a big box to my car, but I just bought an arrow saw today, so I'll help you build your arrows.
Beautiful.
We just blew your last one up.
Yep, we did. I was trying to work on Matt's arrows and went, "Ew," and it stopped working after that. So old Jerry picked me up a saw from Premier.
Dude, I was upset because I was like, Matt, dang it, you broke the saw. I needed arrows cut.
Yeah. So thanks, Matt.
We were at Premiere not that long ago.
That's
Bought
a
boots.
Good place, yeah,
Great
definitely.
place.
Yeah.
Good place.
Good place for boots too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Crispies. Spent a lot of money.
Yep.
Yep. They're worth it though.
Yep.
Yeah, I've
They
been
are.
wearing them for shed hunting to break them in. I like them.
I didn't really have a break-in period for mine. Did you guys?
I have the
No.
stiffest ones. They're
Yeah,
like,
Caleb's probably require a little bit more of a break in.
Mine were like one shed hunting trip, and they were done.
Mm-hmm.
I've already worn one pair out and I'm working on a second pair. Then this fall, I'll probably get another pair. So they work, but they are expensive.
Yeah.
to buy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
well, 42 days out west will do that to a pair of boots.
Man, even more this year.
Yeah.
And then the final question is, what's your guys' favorite trail cameras that you're running this year? It can be like a cell cam or non-cell
Yeah,
cam.
this is good for you guys.
So yeah,
So I use Brownings. Cell cam wise, so there's basically 3 different cameras I use. I use Browning trail cameras for videos exclusively, video mode. They never leave video mode. Last 6 years, just video mode Brownings. The higher end ones. So there's a point where you get into like the $100 and more ones where the video's a little bit better.
mm-hmm.
We use a lot of those, and then I have Spartans and Tacticams. I got both.
Mm-hmm.
And I just run a few Tacticams, but Caleb's our trail cam guru. So
Just let him
I
do
could
it.
that's gonna be a different podcast. Talk
We should
about
honestly
trail
do that in the
We'll
summer.
do it. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna say I
I-
want
yeah,
to.
There's
we'll
a
do
lot
that in the
of-
summer.
We could talk trail cams like crazy.
Let's
but
do that.
Yeah.
he buys batteries by the pallet.
Yeah, I get the 300 pack from Amazon once a month.
Wow.
So
Oh,
did
God.
you run lithiums this year?
No,
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
talk about
They-
that for a second. What are you
So-
doing with the
I just-
shortage?
so I haven't had I don't run any lithium, so it hasn't bothered me. at
Amazon,
all.
that's what he's doing with the shortage.
Amazon shows up with a pallet of batteries once a month at my house.
Holy cow!
So I'm also running cameras for like 5 other guys on our crew,
Right.
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
So,
So how many cameras do you think you are running? If
I
you
mean-
count all of our other guys, because those are the ones you're swapping batteries and changing cards on.
I don't know. We got 30 in West Virginia, maybe 25 to 30 in West Virginia, probably 50 to 60 here in Ohio, maybe even more. And then there's 40. There's probably 30 or 40 in the shop that are just on the shelf that I'm not using right
Need
now.
repaired.
Well, yeah, that's like I said.
The battery terminal breaks off, or the
Yeah.
card slot gets sticky, and the camera's
Yeah.
pretty much toast.
We run probably, I don't know, we're probably running about 25 cell cams. I don't pay for all those plans. I make them pay for the plans, but I'll swap the batteries and do the maintenance on them because they have real jobs.
Yes.
I was just gonna say it sounds like a full-time job.
It is. It's an unbelievable full-time job. But
Yeah.
I don't have any kids, and I'm a fireman, so I can
Yeah.
just do whatever I
Yeah,
want.
so our
all the
schedules are
time.
pretty much make believe when it comes to
Yeah.
having time off.
Make
So
believe.
I don't need to. We don't need to get too
Yeah,
far
dude.
off subject.
The first
but
time you got, not to go down that rabbit hole, but when you guys told me about the time off that you guys have, oh my god!
I haven't worked October or November in 4 years.
oh my gosh!
You better stop talking.
I work like there's been a few years where I worked the first like couple of days, like maybe 3 or 4 shifts, but the year of my wedding, I was off from mid-September to mid-December.
Well,
Wow.
how many fires did you put out, huh?
You're gonna have to rephrase the question there because
Literal fires. How many did you put out?
I mean I work at a busy department, so
Oh,
I
you?
get a
Okay.
lot. Yeah, and we're both on the local volunteer
sorry, boys.
department, and we've had 2 fires there in the last week. So
yeah.
All right,
Actually, a
well,
lot.
that's worth your,
Yeah.
I respect
I work for one of the bigger cities, so
Gotcha. So you guys aren't just playing cards all day.
no. My department's up over 6,000 calls a year. So
Jeez. All right. Well, you
do the
deserve
math
it.
on that.
Keeps you moving then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, and
busy.
for every day off we have during the season, we're working a extra day in the summer or spring. So
Ah.
Oh,
that
yeah,
pretty much
I
is
work
what
all summer.
makes
yeah.
up for it.
Yeah.
Our
Well,
hours spent at work are pretty immense.
Yeah.
That's cool. You're able to kind of swing your hours around from in the summer
Yep.
and then have time off in the fall and stuff.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It takes some like calculus to get it all figured out, but I just trade with guys in the summer. People want the summer off. I
Yeah.
could care less.
Sure.
I'll work
Yeah.
pretty much every weekend in the summer. I'm working unless I have something special planned. But
Mhm.
every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'll just pick up,
Yeah.
swap
Cool.
with a guy.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because I can't miss October, November. More so for other people than myself. I just like being around when they're killing the deer. you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Dude,
He's
I
got
wish.
trail cameras
I
to
was at
swap.
work, so my brother our youngest brother killed his first buck this year on film. Out of the same blind he killed his buck from the next day, but I was at work for it
Mhm.
because it was in January. That sucked.
Yeah, that's probably the first buck kill you've missed in
Yeah.
5 years. Of any of
I
us.
skipped one buck party to watch a Packers game.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
But we don't talk about it, though.
All right, let's get off this. We need to get into turkey. We need to get
I
into
thought
some
we were here for
talk.
turkey hunting.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Let's get into it.
Yeah, so we brought you guys on to kind of talk a little bit of turkey and also like the decline in our area, at least, northern Ohio and stuff. And
Yeah.
just we're kind of going to go off that
Yeah.
a little bit, and it'll be a little bit of a bull crap session.
Yeah,
for you.
we don't have any notes. We're just gonna run with it.
Yeah.
So do you
I
guys
can-
want to start anywhere?
That I can do.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just set the table. When me and Isaac were younger, when I was probably 13, 14, 15, he was 10, 11, 12. He's, 3 years younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't even know what we were doing. And we could go out in the woods and kill turkeys.
Oh,
Yeah, we have an old high 8 videotape, super grainy. I'm wearing Army camo. I'm like 11, 12 years old, and we call in 6 birds
I missed one with my bow.
to a
'cause I thought I
doghouse
was-
blind. Caleb misses it with
I thought I was going to be sweet.
his 12-year-old laser tech.
Yeah. I think I hit it a little bit, but I just know I shot at him. He did a twirl, tried to go up the hill, and I just boom.
I blew it away with a $100 pump
It
shotgun.
was, it was like 20,
Mossberg 500.
24
Oh, it was even worse than
pounds.
that. It was an NEF partner pump.
Partner pump. But it was like a 24-pound bird with an 11-inch beard, like
Jeez.
inch-long spurs. And that was just normal for turkey season. You just go out in the woods and they're gobbling.
Yeah.
And you can go find them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking like 2005,
Early 2000s.
2006.
Yeah.
that
Early to
time
mid
frame.
2000s. For anybody that's not familiar with the northeastern Ohio area, you could basically throw a rock and
Yeah.
hit a turkey.
Yeah, they were everywhere.
I mean, that's not an exaggeration.
And I killed more turkeys when I didn't know what I was doing and I didn't have time. Like we would just go on Saturday and Sunday because you had school during the week.
Yeah.
I'd killed more turkeys then than I do now.
Yeah.
I actually didn't kill one last year for the first time in a little while.
And we would call in birds. We could call in 5 gobblers at one time. I can't remember the last time we've called in more than 2, maybe.
It was 2018. It was the opening day, and Matt missed.
Yeah, so we didn't even.
Spaniel, if you're ever watching, which you probably won't, but he missed. It happens.
So let's just go right into it. What are your guys' thoughts on the decline? So for anybody that, I'm going to say this a lot, but for anybody that's not familiar, I'd say in the last 5 or 6 years, really, the turkey population has really been suffering.
Mhm.
So
And
we've gone, our properties had very bad years. There's been a couple years that have randomly been good in there, but as a whole, definitely way down.
yeah, I mean,
Hey,
nest robbers,
and
or,
even
like-
just driving around us.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't see
Yeah.
birds out in field.
and then honestly, when I see a strutter, I don't even want to tell anybody about it
Yeah.
because I'm like, man, they're just not around.
So I have my theory, which I know some people probably feel the same way, but I think it's literally as simple as deer hunting, the boom in deer hunting and the way deer hunting has become here in Ohio, massive baiting and hunting later into the season, I think, and then also keeping people off your property. So combine all that baiting, which is giving the nest predators unlimited food. No one's trapping. No one's running coon dogs anymore. Where we come from in the 80s and 90s, trapping was more popular than hunting.
Yes.
I want maybe not necessarily numbers wise, but everyone had a guy that was trapping and running coon dogs on their property.
Yeah.
That's non-existent.
And
So
our
if-
coon population is 100% off the charts. You can go for a walk during the day in the woods, and the only thing you'll run into is 5 raccoons just running around the woods.
Yeah, and up until probably about 2010, 11, no one in our area was baiting for deer. I mean, there's probably one bow hunter that was, that no one really knew he was, even though it was legal. Everyone just hunted gun week. There were some guys that were, bow hunting, but it was a major gun week season. No one baited. It was all deer drives. Since people have started baiting for bucks, the population has just disappeared in our area. And I think there's a direct correlation just because of the amount of food available for the predators, and then they're just being unchecked because everyone's selfish about deer hunting. Oh, I can't have dogs back there, and I can't have a guy trapping back there, So they're not letting that kind of thing happen anymore. And the turkey, we used to run into flocks of summertime turkeys, baby ones, poults and stuff running around all the time. Now, never. I'll get a trail camera video and there'll be like 3 little ones behind their mom. It used to be 15.
Yeah.
And there would be 2 or 3 hens together with their flocks, but now it's just.
And we've noticed that our winter flocks, they don't ever winter on our property, but some surrounding properties we have, our winter flocks are 20 birds when they used to be 200 birds.
Hundreds, yeah.
Used to be huge flocks. Now we're seeing 20, maybe.
That's a huge
I don't know
difference.
much about that whole toxin in the corn thing people talk about because I don't have a lot of turkeys eat from our corn piles. So we basically, we will throw out bait, which I'm sitting here talking about how that's what's causing it.
That's the problem.
Basically, when the snow flies, we start baiting a little bit. As long as once it gets cold, so right after gun season or January, we start baiting because once the food's depleted, otherwise you're going to have a lot of long cold.
Well, here's the thing, and a lot of people get all fired up about this, but if you guys own property or you have a family farm, if you don't put supplemental food out, you've got 10 other neighbors that are.
Yeah.
So it's if you don't keep the deer on your property, especially in northeastern Ohio, it's like, man, they're gone.
We have 18 properties that touch our farm.
Yeah, and we did a slight study during shed hunting season. There was, I think, 5 corn piles within eyesight of our property border.
Yeah.
So we just have 40 acre
on 5 different properties. So 5 different people had corn out in a blind, touching our farm, basically.
Yeah, so
our farm's not that big, 120.
Yeah, so we have
something like that.
40 acres on one side of the road, 60 something on the other, and around our properties are a bunch of small properties that touch it, and literally everyone's got a blind, a trail camera, and a corn pile.
A doghouse.
Yeah, basically surrounding our entire properties.
And a Tacticam cell cam.
Yeah,
so it makes it difficult, but it's just something we deal with.
Yeah.
But since that has started is when the turkeys in our area started to go away. Before people were doing any of the baiting and stuff, and it was just gun season and the occasional bow hunter here and there, turkey population was awesome. And we had a lot of guys who used to hunt turkeys too, a lot of old guys, a lot of influences on us, older uncles and stuff. They were big time turkey hunters. And these guys, they still do hunt turkeys, but deer hunting's taken over our area unbelievably.
Oh, yeah.
I think everywhere.
Yeah.
Which they say is good. And I mean, it is good for the sport, but something with that boom of deer hunting has pushed the turkey hunting back. We talked on the way here a little bit. We were brainstorming some ideas. Habitat. So now we got all these, we'll relate to YouTube since we're going to be on YouTube. We got all these YouTubers, Whitetail Habitat Solutions, all these guys. You need to cut every tree down, only leave the good ones, thickets there, burn this, do that. All that has had a negative effect on the turkeys. The states that have the best eastern wild turkey hunting, Pennsylvania, more turkey hunters, more turkeys killed than any other state, I believe. You have to fact check me, but it's just mostly
big
giant open timber. Yep. They don't do all this thickening up and creating bedding areas. The hens can nest in that, and it's great nesting area, but a gobbler can't stay safe there. Coyote will kill it right now. Can't see, can't hear, can't fly. It's dead. So we've made the deer hunting better by creating these thickets, hinge cuts every year, burning every field we have to make a better food plot. But it's affected the turkey hunting, I think.
And not to mention our roost trees with the select cut timbering that everybody does around here, just for financial reasons and for the timbering reasons. We don't have that many roost trees left on our property because we do select cut timber at every 15 years. So
they require
those big giant oaks and big giant hickories with the huge branches that the turkeys like to roost in are no longer there.
Yeah, every ash tree is dead, laying on the ground.
That's true. That's true.
But those are my 2 thoughts, basically. Not a scientist. But
I would big time agree with the nest predators and the raccoons and whatnot. I mean, it's insane the amount of raccoons that are around.
Oh,
it's disgusting.
It is disgusting.
I remember
that's why we don't bait early. So we talked about how we'll throw corn once it snows.
Oh yeah.
We don't really need to because we have a good mix of farmland and we can hunt the natural movement pretty well. But if you bait early, I mean, it makes the most disgusting, foul-smelling filth.
Yeah.
You're
20
feeding
raccoons every night. Just they will eat a 50-pound of corn in like
a day and a half. I refuse to put that on my property. Basically, it's just it bothers me because it's so bad. But
what the answer to that is, we're not sure whether we need more coon hunters. whether they put a bounty on them or if they kind of take them off the fur takers protected list and maybe make it so you can hunt them
Like
year
a
round.
nuisance
Like
type,
like a
like
groundhog
coyotes and stuff. Yeah.
What are you guys? Go ahead.
I don't see how that would hurt.
No, I don't either.
Just giving them free game for a year.
But what's the positive having a surplus of raccoons and
Yeah.
possums?
Well, I mean, eventually nature will correct itself. They'll get this, what?
Diseased and
What's that? Distemper?
yeah.
That's what they get, right?
I had a raccoon, trail cameras again, last year. He was on a frozen water hole I had. He walked back and forth for 2 hours.
I think I've seen that post or something.
I haven't. I sent it to you on Snapchat
that's what it
probably. 'Cause
was,
I haven't
yeah.
posted yet. This raccoon walked back and forth on a frozen pond, as big as this room, for 2 hours in a circle, just back and forth
Yeah,
on my
it's
trail camera.
December.
Back
yeah,
and
not,
forth,
not sure
back
what he
and
was
forth.
doing.
Yeah.
Like-
So is that like mad cow disease or like EHD for a raccoon?
Yeah.
In a way,
essentially?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Distemper. Yep. So it's just nature's way of correcting itself.
Yeah.
But it really hasn't happened around us. Why don't we get into the topic of something just kind of clicked? And what about baiting? What if we eliminated baiting in Ohio? What are some positive, negatives? What do you guys think?
I would not cry.
Yeah, we do have some strong thoughts on that, even though we do bait. But it would even the playing field more, I think, for some of these mature bucks as well.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm almost all for it. Like
Yeah.
I'm 100% away from taking away baiting in Ohio.
The problem I have with taking it away is people would still do it. It'll be now they would be flying drones and stuff, and there's ways that they can kind of keep it up, but we don't need to get into the resources that the game wardens don't have right now. But it's going to create a thing where people are just going to do it anyways. Kind of like shed hunting out west right now.
Yeah.
It's illegal in a couple states now. We're going to have these seasons. You're telling me people aren't picking them up?
Mm-hmm.
They are,
Yeah.
because you're not going to change. They feel they're Robin Hood in this situation.
Yeah.
I've been baiting for 50 years on my property. I'm going to just keep doing it.
Yeah.
But I feel like the state wouldn't have any reason not to outlaw it. I don't know what their huge lobby is for it, because a lot of states have been successful banning it.
Yeah, most of them, I feel that banned it, though, didn't have the baiting culture in place. Maybe they allowed it for a few years and they said, it's not that big of a deal. But I don't know, if you try to take away baiting in Ohio.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's another state that has as big a culture in baiting as Ohio does.
I mean,
Dude,
the
it's
South.
insane.
I think this might be the biggest.
That's
It's
possible.
insane.
This is
Like,
very possible.
For people that don't understand Ohio hunting, every single person has a redneck blind and a corn pile 20 yards from it.
I'm sitting right here, man.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's
100% true.
And it's
I-
like
that's
and
what
it's
it
like you
is.
guys said, the only reason that most of us in this room bait is because you have to. There's every property around you that has corn pile.
I would challenge someone who likes to kill deer or likes to kill big bucks to not bait for an entire year and see how it goes. Because I have friends that do that. I have friends that are adamant. They're going to be on our podcast whenever we start one. One guy in particular will not hunt over bait. He hasn't killed a buck in Ohio in probably 10 years.
ouch.
And
he actually completely quit hunting in Ohio because of his frustrations with.
I mean, okay, so let's rephrase that. We're in a different situation than some. If you were to go into southern Ohio, where there's bigger timber, you have like Shawnee, Wayne National. Obviously, you can't bait on public, but the terrain's a little bit different. You might be able to get away with not baiting, but the problem is you have to paint the picture for us, the listeners, the viewers. We're in northeastern Ohio where woodlots are 40, 50 acres, and everybody's got a 10-acre piece here, there, you know. So like everybody thinks that 10 acres they can put a bait site on, they can hunt it. I mean, it's just going back to what you guys were saying. It's impossible not to. I guess I'm just justifying the fact that, like, if you don't, it goes back to the story you were just telling about your buddy. If you don't bait, and I'm not pushing baiting. You know, this isn't a podcast about baiting. We're trying to talk about turkeys, but it's a very good line to go down, or road to turn on, talking about the problem, because there's so much of it, and it's just like.
I mean, I bet you it's in the upper 80 percentile of hunters.
I would agree.
Have bait out or hunting over bait.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree.
And
In our
because of-
area, yeah.
Because of the terrain we're hunting in, there's very rare times where you're hunting in your tree stand and you can't see whether it's someone else's tree stand or where someone else hunts, a property line. We're hunting such small pieces of timber and field and properties that if they're doing it around you, you almost have to do it because you can't hunt the natural movement of the deer.
You're just competing against your neighbor, essentially.
Yeah.
Have you ever, like, so at the end of the year, maybe you accidentally leave your cell cam out and leave it for a month, but you stop baiting a spot? corn's gone for 2 days. You never get a picture of a deer again.
Mm-hmm.
They're just gone.
Yeah.
They never come back to that spot, even though they were eating there for 2 months straight in the evenings. You stop baiting, they're gone because they're at the next spot. There's
Yeah.
no reason to go over there.
Yeah.
They can walk downwind, no corn, out.
Yeah.
But and back to turkey hunting, I do believe that is one of the major problems.
I do too. I think that has boomed the raccoon for sure
Mm-hmm.
population immensely.
I mean, back when people were getting $10-15 for a raccoon pelt,
Yeah.
there was not 60 of them around a corn pile.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
that's a fact.
Yeah. Or else everybody have a corn pile and they just sit there.
Yeah,
And eat 'em.
yeah. and you'd
You
be
had to
rich.
actually
You'd
hunt 'em.
literally be rich.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't quote me on this, but my old man's still friends with the farm that we were just talking about earlier that's close to you guys that I lost. So my old man went over there in the summer last year and was talking to him, and the outfitter got a picture by the river with, don't quote me on this, 47 or 48 coon
I believe that. Yeah.
in one
Oh, yeah.
picture
Yeah, that's not shocking at all.
over a bait site.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like,
Imagine. So let's talk about that guy. He has how many bait sites do you think on that farm? 50?
at least.
Oh, good.
I mean, easily 50 if you divide it up by the math.
Wow.
So he's running 50 bait sites on one farm, and it's a very big farm.
Like,
but
yeah, quite very large.
I mean, imagine. So he had 47 in that picture, and then there's the other 49 bait sites at the same time
That I
have,
guarantee you have raccoons.
that have 1 or 2 raccoons at minimum, and maybe 40 on an. I mean,
Yeah.
just think about those in numbers,
I know it.
and that's right next door to us, and that's what we have to deal with. And then they wonder why there's no turkeys left.
Yeah. Or
Because
2.5
those
kilowatt.
raccoons get real hungry come.
Well, I was gonna say nobody's baiting
Yeah.
right now, so they
No.
got to find food somehow.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Is there any way for a hen to defend her eggs from raccoons like
No.
that? There's no way.
No,
There's
no
no
way.
way to do it.
Who was just, we were just talking to somebody. Was it Nick from the last podcast? He said that he stumbled across 3 nests already that have been robbed. Was that Nick?
Was it this year or was it last year?
Maybe it was last year.
But yeah, it was Nick.
Well, I got a trail camera video last week of a hen at 1:30 in the morning walking in a field,
Yeah.
which tells me she was on her nest
Yep.
and
Bummer.
something
Raccoons
came
took her off.
or what, and she
Yeah.
lost her eggs. There's no other reason for her to be walking around at 1
Yeah.
o'clock in the morning
No.
in the open at night.
Yeah.
No.
So
We had
she
a-
probably already lost her, nest.
Yeah, we had a guest on the last podcast, right?
Yep.
He was telling us, I think it was, don't quote me on this because I can't remember, but last year, roughly this time, he stumbled across 3 different nests that were robbed.
Yeah.
Wow.
All eggshells broken, just I mean,
I think it was last year. I don't think it was this year.
I think you're right.
Yeah,
I
and
think
anymore trying to find a hen nest is very
so. Well, like
hard.
you were saying, the poults,
Yeah.
you don't see poults.
Like we talked about, I run video trail cameras 24/7, 365. And this time of year, you'd get a hen walking by and you'd see, the poults are only this big.
Yeah,
when
they're
they
like
first
little
come out.
baby chickens.
So there'd be 15 of them, 12 of them run around, a couple hens all together. And then now, if I ever get poults, it's just like 2 or 3
Yeah.
at the most. So, and a lot of hens, there's videos of hens in June with no poults with them at all,
Mhm.
which that's obviously not good.
Yeah.
No, that's bad.
So one rabbit hole that I want to go down is this is what my old man preaches. Now my old man's a little bit different. If anybody knows my old man, you chuckle at why I say that, but he claims it's the pesticides on all of the cropland. What are your guys' thoughts on
we
that?
did talk about that on the way down.
Yeah, we don't. We have some of our guys in our group, we have one guy in our group who's a big time farmer, and he would. I'd had to get his input on it because I don't know the science behind a lot of it, but I know there's a lot of people that are gun shy about it because of the eagle situation, DDT. There's already precedents in our country where there has been a situation like that where a bird was basically wiped out because of the pesticide. So is that a thing that could be affecting turkey populations? Maybe. I know that there seems to be a good amount of turkeys in places where they don't do a lot of commercial farming. So like when I was out in California in the mountains and stuff, and you hear places like Oregon and some of these other, Utah, for example, up high, there's still a lot of turkeys in those places. I know down low they're farming, but so there could be a correlation there. I don't know.
That's a great point
I'm not a
because
scientist,
in Kentucky, the bird population is insane in
Right.
northern Kentucky, and that's kind of what you're describing. It's like it's rolling, foothills, ags in the bottom, but not much.
And it's probably hay. A lot of it's
Yeah,
probably
it's mostly hay.
West
Yeah, so
Virginia and Pennsylvania, a lot of the fields are hay where we
And
hunt.
the
not,
turkey population is through the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
and
here in Ohio,
if it's
it's-
not corn or beans, they don't have to use those pesticides because the hay is naturally.
So another thing, speaking of farmers, not to dog the farmers, because I know a lot of us rely on farmers around here, but are they cutting out all the fence rows around you guys or
Yes.
what?
Yeah.
There's not going to be a tree left in any of these fields. There used to be these nice rolling fence line rows, which were good for hunting and pretty much every wildlife.
Yeah.
They're all
Rabbits,
gone. They're
yeah.
gone. It's just
Yeah.
nothing. but
Excavator
flat,
bulldozers,
yeah.
they're gone. They can get a couple extra acres out of a big field.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Yeah.
taking them out.
Absolutely.
And that's got to play into the factor too, because
Yeah.
how useful is just a big flat picked cornfield for a turkey? I know there's bugs and there's some protection out there, but you just don't. I don't see them out there in
No.
those fields.
Other than maybe a strut zone, but that
Yeah, that's not where they're gonna pick to be.
It's too far from everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what ours up by us. That's what it's kind of turning into, unfortunately. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I never really even
valid
thought
point.
about that before.
the fence rows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I know that's why there's no pheasants left. Not the direct reason, but we've killed all
Yeah.
the wild bird habitat.
What about
around us
grouse?
is
Did you guys ever
gone.
have grouse back in the day?
No. At least not that I know. I would have to ask our dad farther back, but
Uh,
no pheasants, no grouse by us. Occasional woodcock, I think we see every once in a while.
We
but-
will get pheasants, but they're released birds.
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
Nearby bird
Yeah.
club.
Yeah.
yeah.
I have the same thing down the road. There's a sportsman's club. Had a chucker running around here
Yep.
the other day.
Yep. And they're released. There's no way.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't last very long due to the predators.
Nope.
So I will have one, and maybe we can touch base on this, you and I, because I don't think Kevin was there for this conversation.
Talking about myrrh.
Yeah. So we have a good buddy down south, older gentleman, who has basically lived in Wayne National Forest. Like he's got a cabin his whole life. He's just lived in Wayne National. Big grouse hunter. Like he'll travel to Michigan every year to grouse hunt. Big grouse hunter. And he said that the grouse, so like the decline in turkey that we're seeing now, he saw in grouse, don't quote me on this, let's say 10, 15 years ago. And he's saying he thinks it's going to happen to the turkey as well. And his idea is the ticks. And it's a weird, like I know it's kind of in left field, but if you sit down and think about it, growing up, how many ticks were around us?
None.
None.
Never got a one.
Zero.
Ever. And I'm a tick magnet now.
Now,
Like, I'll have one when I leave your guys' house.
seriously,
today.
think about it. When we were younger, even like let's say even 5-6 years ago, there wasn't a tick around
No.
us.
Nothing.
I remember hunting Wayne National for the first time down there at his place, at Murr's place. I was in college, and he goes, "Did you put the tick spray on?" And I said, "What tick spray? What's that?" And this was me in college.
Yeah. Our first ones were when we were hunting our spot in Southern Ohio. So the public land that we used to hunt in Southern Ohio, maybe we started doing that maybe 10, 12 years
Yeah,
ago.
I probably never saw a tick till I was 20 years old.
And
Yeah.
that's where we got our first tick. Never up here.
So of course, I go trekking through the woods, and I get a million of them on me. And like he told me, he's like, "Yeah, you can't walk through the woods without some kind of spray on around here." I'm just like, man, that's so weird because we don't have any. Well, now
We do.
5-6 years later, we've got ticks around us.
Do you get bit a lot?
I wear a lot of that Sawyer's stuff, so I really don't get them on me.
Mine don't heal.
But really,
So
No.
yeah, I
They
know
got
a couple
tick
people
bites
that
that
like
are
that.
They,
years
they
old.
never heal. I got bumps.
You got one.
I'd have
I
to take
have
my
two.
pants off to
You have
make it
two
work.
that-
But
hey,
Haven't you?
The one on my
they're
leg is now healed.
Yeah, they're on my leg. It leaves like a calloused, like
Yep. It's like a
spot.
hard bump.
Yeah,
And
hard bump. Never heal.
wonder what that
Does yours
never
itch
heal.
still every now and then?
Yeah.
And I've never had one bite on me. I've picked
So,
hundreds of them
That's
off.
same way. I've
Here-
never had one dig into my skin.
Yeah, here, Pennsylvania, bear hunting out west, the ticks are everywhere. I've never had one bite into my skin.
We'll
Ever.
come back from West Virginia, which, mind you, we're going there Thanksgiving week. So, like, it's
In the cold.
snowing
yeah,
sometimes.
cold?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we'll come back, and then, like, a week later, I'll find one dug into my back
Yeah.
of my knee. Like,
And it always
Come on.
amazes me. Like you would think, okay, I'm going to feel this thing bite into me, and you don't feel nothing.
you can
Nothing.
feel them crawl right at first, I feel like, but once they're on you, you just lose the
I pick them
feeling.
off the back of my neck all day long when we're hunting, basically.
So the reason we were talking about that is because Murr was talking that
Or you can tell the story
the
about
ticks and the cow.
the cow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
what I was getting at.
he thinks, he's like, this is serious. The ticks down here are getting serious. And then he started to talk about they had a cow that died from ticks.
He
The ticks-
personally didn't, but he.
No, there
knew
was
the
a
local.
there was a local that had a cow die. They sent it. They didn't know what killed it. They want to know what killed it. And the ticks literally drained the blood.
They
from
sent
the
it
cow.
to the University of Kentucky.
I think I've
believe.
heard I think I've read something about something similar to that.
So yeah, this is. I mean, as far as we know, it's a
Yeah.
100% true
Yeah.
story. And then I had a couple of locals.
Yeah,
like
the
that we
other
were-
guys were talking about
like
it.
Travis agreed to. He said, "Yeah, that really happened." So they.
They also see a lot of Bigfoot down there in Wayne National. too.
So this is actually Kentucky. I think is where this happened.
Yeah.
Northern Kentucky.
It was in
It was-
Kentucky. Yeah.
So the cow died. Very healthy cow, just calved, died. Farmer was ticked off. Vet didn't know what was going on, so they sent it out to the University, I believe, of Kentucky.
It was
yeah.
yeah.
He said UK.
Yeah, UK.
'Cause we were all like, why would you ship it over the ocean?
Over the
you know?
seas.
Yeah.
that-
And then it clicked.
It was one of those moments.
Drove it down the road.
Big brains on these guys over here.
they sent it to the UK, and so then the study came back that literally the ticks sucked it dry.
Wow.
I mean, I'm
It
not
had
here to
so
oppose
many
it.
ticks on it that it died. A 1,200-pound animal. So like here, Murr's argument was, if a tick, if multiple ticks can kill a 1,200-pound cow, why can't 15 of them kill a poult? Why can't 20 of them kill a turkey?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and if one of these ticks bites onto this poult's face, blocks
Yeah.
its eyes, nose, whatever, that's going to be enough
That's
to
it.
take that little tiny chick
Oh yeah,
out.
Yeah.
absolutely. And one of his things is that
The reason why, or the reason?
the reason that he thinks the ticks are so bad is because nobody burns big tracts of lands like they used to. He said he remembers when he was young. I mean, they burned everything, and he said he thinks that killed most of the larvae
down
Like,
there. Yeah.
And he said there isn't a person down here that burns a single thing.
Well, you're not allowed to burn anything. And Ohio's got
Yeah.
some strict
Right.
burning laws. We can't be, out west Iowa and stuff. That you're allowed to burn your
Yeah.
fields and stuff, or you can call and
You can catch your truck on fire too.
Oh,
shots fired. I promise you, they're not going to ever listen to this podcast.
No,
so
they're
It
not.
doesn't matter.
We've
Yeah, but-
talked about it before.
But somebody that's listening to this podcast just chuckled. I guarantee it.
Oh yeah.
and somebody else has been triggered. I'm sure.
All jokes
And
aside.
make sure you eat your liver raw too.
Yeah,
but I would
go back
definitely
to the
I would
burning.
say that. I mean, that makes a lot of sense, man.
Yeah,
If you don't burn anything, you
Yep.
don't. Nobody's doing anything to kill the larvae. It's like they're just gonna.
What
keep-
eats a tick larvae?
That's great.
A great
I
question.
don't know.
Is there,
So I know
is there
that-
bugs? Is there spiders? Is there?
I was always told possums.
Wait, did you hold on?
Yeah.
Rewind. Did you guys see that post that's been going around on?
Possum one?
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
Hannah Barron just shared it. I
That
just read
possum
it.
had like what? How many ticks on it? And people are like, "Oh,
Are you referencing the one where they said? So the study was that
Maybe I'm
possums
seeing
eat ticks.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
The possum that ate the ticks was in like a box.
They did
with
a-
ticks released. It had nothing to do but eat the ticks.
Yeah, they did a
But if you
singular
release
study.
them, if you release the possum in the wild, it's trying not to die, so it doesn't eat any ticks.
Right.
Because it's always fight or flight mode, and they won't eat as many ticks in the wild as they do in a controlled environment.
Yep.
So this whole wise tale of possums eating ticks was created off a non-scientific study, basically.
Yeah.
And think of how many possums weren't killed because of that non-scientific study.
Yeah.
And
now there's a million of them.
And now there's ticks everywhere.
Yeah, and then the possums
And
are
possums.
Just as, possums are just as bad as
Raccoons.
nest robbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Skunks, possums.
I got a cool possum story.
Let's hear it.
It's related to turkey hunting. So we got this ridge. So back in the day, you used to be able to roost turkeys or hunt the morning fly down on one side of our farm, and then if you got bored of those birds and they stopped listening to you, you cross to the other side of the road, hunt the other side of the farm. And there's birds that hadn't been messed with over there. We were in the morning, we were doing that, so we hunted the fly down, couldn't get him to come in, so we boogied over because we heard a bird gobbling across the street. So we boogied across the street, and as we were trying to get into place to shoot this gobbler, we walked over 3 possums that are just like laying on the road, like probably looking for turkey eggs. They weren't even afraid of us. We walked over 3 possums, so we forever referenced that ridge as Possum Run now. We actually kill a lot of deer off that ridge,
Yes.
and we killed a turkey that day. We actually did kill that turkey.
That's awesome. That's
But
awesome.
that was the last turkey we killed on that side of the farm.
We need to start hunting
Yeah.
possums or trapping possums.
Yeah.
However you can kill possums.
You can hunt
But we were tripping over possums to get to this turkey.
Yeah.
It was just a surreal thing.
You
It
were
was just one of
saving them
weird
for the
things,
ticks, and now they don't even eat ticks.
Yeah. Now we got possums, ticks, and no turkeys.
Yeah, it's a big problem.
So
Yeah.
let's rewind a little bit. I just want give me your honest feedback. What do you guys think on the tick? Like, do you think that's a valuable, or excuse me, that's a valid reason, or you think that's a little far fetched?
Small contributing factor.
Yeah, I would say.
In some places, yeah, they probably could be bad enough to cause some actual damage.
And I think maybe the tick situation kind of shows how many animals we have, small possums, coons, that carry ticks around on them.
That was my next
Because
question.
what does a tick do in its life cycle if it can't find a raccoon, possum, deer?
Human.
It dies.
It dies.
Yeah.
So all these ticks are alive, and there's so many ticks because of all these little fur-bearing creatures that they can
Spread
survive
around.
on and spread on.
And that might be why we have more ticks up here now.
Yeah, very
It's a
possible.
valid point.
Yep.
All going back to baiting whitetail deer. But for real, I mean, honestly,
Really, it makes sense.
wow.
I think it's a
That
very
and
good
the,
theory.
that and the Canada geese. Because they just fly everywhere from Canada to Florida, landing in our ponds and hanging out in our properties, and then they leave and they bring whatever with them, you know.
Mhm.
Are you being serious? Like,
Yeah, why not?
Think about it. They're
I mean,
everywhere.
Canada geese.
I'm not a goose hunter.
Canada geese go everywhere, but they always come back and land in the same places every year
Hey,
on their
You wanna
way
save
to
turkeys?
and from.
you start goose hunting.
There you go, Matt. Buy your stamps.
Sorry.
Boo! I'm not a goose hunter,
Yeah.
Yeah, neither.
but I hate geese.
These old boys are the duck hunters.
It's fun.
The other brothers that aren't on this podcast could talk about that one.
What do you guys think? Anything else?
I'd agree. I don't think it's the thing, but I think in some places it could definitely be a problem.
And it may be a warning sign more than a
Yeah.
cause.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, I mean, there is more fur-bearing things to carry these ticks around everywhere, and that's probably a huge reason why they've spread up here to us. I mean, they had to get here somehow. Why not on the back of a possum? Or
So one
anything?
thing that I want to talk about tonight is this is gonna hurt some feelings of some people, and we're probably gonna. But I want to get into it.
Perfect.
Love this.
Not you guys, of course, but like
Why do you drink Bud Light?
I don't want to get into that. Okay, so we're sitting here talking about all the reasons why the turkey population is declining. How do we fix it? And I'm not putting that on you guys. I'm saying everybody here.
Well, I'll tell you a secret.
How do we fix it?
I'll tell you a secret that you guys probably know, but my dad didn't see his first turkey until like 2001, maybe 1999, 2000. There was zero in Medina County. They were released in like 3 different spots by the DNR. So we didn't even have turkeys for a while. They brought them back. I don't know if releasing more turkeys would help, but that's how they got here in the first place. Our turkeys aren't naturally from where we are here. They were brought back to our area of Ohio. And they didn't start hunting them until like the late 90s, maybe mid to late 90s.
And I think that there may be a problem there inherently with turkeys is they're not a very strong population. They're not a very strong creature. They can be hunted to extinction, and they might be able to, due to some reason, they might go extinct around here again easily because it's happened in the past.
Yeah.
So do you think?
I know what you're thinking, but
No, go for it.
well, you're thinking that maybe people need to cut back on shooting turkeys.
Well, I didn't shoot one last year, so
To-
I helped.
to let
already.
them-
I haven't
There
bought
we
a
go.
tag. I'll be honest, I have not. And dude, I used to love turkey hunting. I have not bought a tag in 2 years.
The one limit helps.
Yeah.
The one bird limit helps.
I'm glad they did that.
But everyone who shot 2 birds always shot 2 birds.
Yeah.
Pretty much. That's what I kind of found. So like there wasn't a lot of random people just getting lucky twice. The
Yeah.
guys that killed 2
The
birds were the
diehard
guys
turkey
that were
hunters.
but
the guys that make
having
turkey
only
hunters.
those guys only kill 1 helps.
Right.
So
I would agree.
Mm-hmm.
What do you
And
think about like no Jakes?
how do you I'll share a video clip with you guys. If you guys need any video clips for the video, just let me know because
Yeah,
I have
do
them
it,
all.
yeah.
So I want to know how you're going to differentiate what a Jake is because I have this bird I called in 3 different times last year that gobbled like a man. He gobbled like a man, and he had about a 7-inch beard, but he was a Jake. I mean,
How do you a 7-inch beard?
because he didn't have a full fan.
Yeah, when
Oh,
he would go
really?
into strut, only when he would go into strut you could tell.
And he
that-
still had the erect beard at all times. Like it was 7 inches long, but it didn't flop like
Really?
a long beard would. But he gobbled like a man. He fooled us so many times. Oh, and then
Maybe he drinks Bud Light.
he brought his 8. He would bring his 8 buddies with him every time. I mean, there was a flock of 9 Jakes,
Right.
and he brought them with him every time. And so we didn't shoot him. But
Yeah.
how do you say what that is?
Well,
What's the cutoff?
Okay, so I would say like beard length would have to be the cutoff in that situation.
But
I
that
think,
beard. I mean, you have a 2-year-old bird with a 12-inch beard.
no, I'm saying you can't harvest a bird like 4 inches or greater. Like you'd have to do something like that, because like that situation, I don't think that's happening all the time. Like that, that like we can be honest about that. We can.
Yeah.
That's like
Yeah, yeah,
like
And the
that-
fact that he was hanging out with all the other Jakes, I
Yeah.
knew he was a Jake.
you could
but
tell that he was a Jake.
yeah.
But like, because most Jakes, have just a 2-inch
Yeah,
inch.
nub.
It's just a little nub sticking out. So I mean, as long as it was like you could say like.
But we've had gobblers that have no beards too.
Well, beard rot.
absolutely no beards.
But here,
But-
you could argue that for like point restrictions on whitetail.
Yeah.
You could have the most mature 6-point in the world.
Just let that gobbler live. Though.
But, like,
he might
yeah,
not have a beard, so
exactly.
he gets to live.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, we might have to start doing stuff like that.
I wouldn't be opposed.
Do you guys see a lot of people shooting jakes around here? A lot of people you know.
Jared's like me.
So, we had one of our brothers shot a jake last year, but it was also his first turkey.
Yeah, he shot his first turkey and his first buck last year. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't call him mature either one, but it was the first one
But
for him.
in your defense, Jarrett, you're not a turkey hunter.
Well, yeah.
You've killed, what, 2 birds in your life?
I call it a bird and a half, but yeah.
So, I mean, like,
But I've always wondered why do people get so upset about someone shooting a jake versus someone shooting a long beard?
I've heard, well, jakes can't reproduce.
that's what I've been told.
So,
yeah.
like, a jake has not hit any sexual maturity, so he can't make any eggs. So, you're basically taking him out of the gene pool before he gets a chance to be
Yep.
part of it. At least in whitetails, a spike can
Yep.
reproduce it.
Yeah.
You know,
Do we think that hunters' harvest numbers are contributing to this, or do you think predation is the major factor? I think a lot more turkeys
Do
are
you
getting
look at
killed
the
when they're
numbers every year?
poults than
Like,
being
they
shot.
send out the
turkeys,
thing.
for turkey.
Medina County, don't quote me, but our county, I think it was like 260 birds. I mean, that's not a lot to me.
No.
I mean, there's thousands of deer.
No,
being
because you
killed.
used to be able to
260
see
birds.
almost that amount on your farm in a flock.
Yeah,
in the
in the
wintertime.
wintertime, yeah.
Just on what 140
And I want to
acres.
say it used to be close to 400 for our county,
Mhm.
like upper 300s, and now it's in the mid 200s.
Yeah.
I'd have to go back and actually verify these numbers, but I know it's less. Obviously, it's less, but
And I would say
that's not
obviously
a lot of birds though. But
Right.
getting taken out by hunters.
I would say obviously hunting. I mean, it's taking some out, but clearly the majority of it is predation. In my opinion.
I just think less are reaching maturity
Mm-hmm.
to where we're seeing them out in the fields. They're gobbling, doing the whole turkey dance. I just think a lot. It's poult predation and the eggs, more so
I
than
agree.
the adults.
I
Because
agree.
once a turkey gets to maturity, we know they're a pretty smart animal. Hardly ever see them killed on the road. I mean, you do from time to time, and they're not the easiest thing to hunt
No.
nowadays. But
No.
Yeah, I think nest rating and poult predation is the huge factor.
I would
when
agree.
It, yeah,
I would
when it
agree.
comes to numbers.
Mhm.
I would 100%.
Because one nest gets rated, that could be 16 birds that were
right.
killed right there.
Yeah.
It could
Yeah.
take
I mean,
100
I
hunters to
don't
shoot
even think
16
I've
birds
killed
in a year.
16 birds in my life yet. I mean,
Exactly.
probably getting
No.
close to that number, but
No.
and that's one nest done.
Gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
so
just that one night, you
Mhm.
know.
So let's say that like putting a restriction on bird numbers is not the answer. Not shooting jakes is not the answer. How do we encourage more people to trap? How do we encourage more people to? Because here's the thing, like,
You can't.
and that's
Because
what
it costs money.
that
to
was my
trap now.
argument.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm.
it costs you
Yeah.
money to do that.
You can't even buy groceries anymore. Why are you going to spend money on a trap
That's what I'm saying.
to
Let
make
alone-
someone else's turkey hunting better?
Let
Yeah.
alone the time to do it.
Yeah, for real.
That's hilarious.
Because there's only so let's relate this to YouTube. We pulled our audience last year, because we film everything. I
Yeah.
mean, we film everything from surf fishing to just getting in a tube going down a river to deer hunting, elk hunting, bear hunting. It was like 87% of our audience cared about deer hunting only.
Yep, I agree.
and
So
shooting
that would-
big bucks. That's what they wanted
yeah,
to see.
shooting big bucks. So it didn't even we care so much about turkey hunting. We're having this podcast about it and we love it. But I mean, the majority of people that are consuming media or performing in media or hunting out there don't care about it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So
It will be interesting to see. We talked about Bear Grease a little bit earlier. He kind of lives an older lifestyle. He always promotes the tracking and predator hunting and coon hunting. Maybe that will have a positive impact because it could make
Right.
coon hunting cool
Yeah,
again.
and I feel like he has talked to a lot of people, and he has said himself, like, he has seen an uptick in people that want to do the coon hunting and stuff just
Yeah.
because he does.
you need someone to kind of pioneer that and make
Yeah.
it basically he said you got to make it cool again.
Yeah.
You look at
basically.
Western hunting right
Absolutely.
now.
Yeah.
So elk
Yeah.
hunting and stuff is huge again.
Yeah,
Huge.
yeah.
Huge.
Again. And that wasn't the case, I want to say, 10 years ago. Because I know back in the early 90s, we had a bunch of people from Chatham, where we live, would go elk hunting. And they said the crowds back then were wild. But then it died down for a little bit. Probably because it became expensive and draws became a thing. But
Yeah.
elk hunting's booming again, Western hunting. So if you can make fur-bearing stuff cool again.
Yeah, so if
There
we
was a
could make
boom in
coon
duck
hunting
hunting.
cool again,
There was a boom in duck hunting because the duck commander guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Yep.
there was always the guys that watched like Phil's stuff, but then when they put them on Fox and you had Willie with his show, duck hunting became cool again.
Yeah. On the
Yeah.
main
Even though it
street.
wasn't a hunting show, it
Right.
it boomed it. So
Right.
Yeah, maybe sell some more coonskin hats on bear
If
grease.
we, I was gonna say, if you could make coon hunting cool again, it could definitely help.
I think so. I really think so.
I will say one thing. Have you guys ever like actually like mouth called to a coon or like, obviously during season?
I've seen it before in
Dude,
videos.
it is the
but
biggest rush that you will.
Trail camera videos. I mean, they make crazy noises.
Oh, yeah.
Raccoons.
All night long.
Crazy noises.
So, story real quick. I didn't believe all this nonsense. Kind of when I was younger, I didn't believe that you could call in a coon. We watched a boar coon go into a tree. We were turkey hunting. My dad he always carried around like squeakers and like a fox call and stuff. He just had like a single reed squeaker call, and he's like, watch this. He starts blowing on that thing, and it's like a rabbit in distress kind of thing. That coon barreled out of that tree so fast down. He's running full bore, and he looks up, and we're standing there at like 5 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's the craziest stuff.
And
If we could
the
do
guys run
that
with like Fox Pros and stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like
I was gonna say, if
screaming them
that's
out.
something that you could promote and possibly
Yeah.
film and show that it's cool and fun.
Well, we couldn't. I mean, we don't have a big enough audience. But
Let's get the
Hey, it
bag
all
limits
starts
taken
somewhere.
away, and then we can just start having like, coon
Absolutely.
hunting
I
contests
think
and
that
stuff.
I honestly think I can't believe that they're still.
Because they've started
Bag
doing that
limits.
with coyotes.
Mm-hmm.
But the more coyotes we kill, the less coons there are. Or the more
Yeah, yeah.
It means that there's more coons, the more
dude,
coyotes we
okay.
There has
Seriously,
been a huge uptick in coyote hunting
that
lately.
is a great idea. Coon contest.
Yeah.
But take the bag limits away. Take the season away.
In the
and
middle
just-
of summer, let's kill 1,000 and take them somewhere and throw them in the
Seriously.
field,
Seriously.
Feed the other critters. I mean, for real.
I mean, I hate to
'Cause
sound
we
like
can't do that now. It's illegal.
No,
I know it.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I'm a big groundhog hunter, so I'll walk around fields shooting groundhogs. I see more coons than groundhogs
I do.
now.
absolutely.
There's nothing. It's the middle of the summertime.
Yeah.
You can't do
100.
anything about it. You got to
Yep.
watch them.
100%. 100%.
Have you ever seen a coyote kill a coon before?
No.
It's like it's weird because if you have a carcass cam set up, like all those animals like are friendly when they're all eating off a deer carcass or something. But you get them in the wild, those coyotes will rip those raccoons apart.
It's like,
Like we find
gladiator match.
raccoons that are just ripped apart in the woods, like just tore up.
I would love to watch that.
That'd be cool.
That'd be cool to watch.
I'm always like, I always defend the raccoon, as in like, I think the raccoon is one of the toughest pound for pound critters in the woods.
Oh.
Until
Like-
a pack of coyotes finds one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's over. But,
Game over.
Yeah, they don't get enough credit or recognition.
I mean, the
well,
raccoon.
they're smart.
Oh,
But then that makes it so people don't want to hunt them either.
Right.
Yeah, so shh.
Just a raccoon.
They're bad.
They're horrible.
well, I don't.
Well, Russia bought all our furs. So have you ever heard that whole thing? So Russia used to buy all our
Yeah,
furs
yeah,
back
yeah.
when there was the big boom, and now none of that.
China.
Yeah, none of that stuff's happening over there anymore. Plus, we're not even trading with them. So
Yeah.
In the
It did.
war.
yeah,
It killed everything.
yeah.
Oh man.
I honestly don't know what to do. We sit here and have this podcast because we care, because we're woodsmen, because we want to see the turkey population come back. But the sad truth is, I don't know what the answer is.
We're gonna have to evolve. I like the one bird limit. You
I
know,
do too.
I don't know what else is gonna be able to be done on a state level.
I like the take the no season on coon and no bag limit. That's one
Yeah.
thing that we could do.
Mm-hmm.
Is there now someone who knows more about it would have to talk about it? Is there a reason why that's not in place now? Like, what's the
Probably
reason
tradition.
why?
I was
Well,
going to
we-
say tradition.
Yeah, we have
like
old
it.
regulations, the same regulations from when they were making money off them. They were
Yeah.
making
Yeah.
$25 off one coon pelt. So obviously they had to have a bag limit on them.
There's no
in the
demand
season.
now, so
There's no,
Yeah.
there's no.
What do we
yeah.
do? See, but that's the other thing. What do we do with them?
So, did
You
there
know?
used to be a bag limit on coyotes back in the day?
I'm not sure. On
I'm
that.
probably
not sure either.
for a while back you probably couldn't even shoot them.
Okay.
But I don't know when.
No, you could hunt like during the fur boom. Like my dad would say that coyote pelt was worth a ton, so you could hunt them.
I wonder how regulated it was, because I honestly don't know.
I'm not sure either.
Mhm.
Do you guys see a lot of foxes? Speaking of,
More. I've seen.
I have two on my property that I
we
see
see
quite
a
a bit.
ton of foxes.
Ton of
Yeah.
foxes.
I
Huh.
saw
I'd
one.
say not really.
I saw one on 604.
Is sleeping.
No,
Dead?
it had 4 or 5 babies with it.
Oh, really? Right now?
Cool.
Yep.
That's cool.
Right off the road.
Yeah.
Sweet.
My one buddy that's on our crew has a fox den in his grandpa's shed in his backyard.
Are you bringing this up because you think that they're hurting the turkeys? Or
I mean,
just
I've
talking?
gotten videos of them chasing turkeys before.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
So
I
they,
have-
they do try.
I have pictures of fox with
Yeah.
poults in their mouth.
So I've cammed a lot of fox dens. I mean, they are very successful hunters. I mean, 5 times a
Yes.
day they'll be coming back, usually with a chicken. I mean, it's always a chicken. Or a
Really?
rabbit. Yeah, I mean, they just kill chickens.
Chicken or a
but-
baby rabbit.
Yeah, chickens or rabbits, but they never run by those. They never run up to those dens without something in their mouth,
Mhm.
like 100% of the time.
That's interesting.
But I've seen them chase turkeys. I haven't seen them kill a lot. I mean, I don't think they're going to kill a full-grown tom, but those younger poults are toast to a
Yeah.
fox.
Oh,
Yeah.
all
Toast.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Anything else that you guys
Well,
have?
I have a question for maybe you or whoever else wants to answer about like Toms and Jakes. I've heard the argument that, like we were saying, Jakes can't reproduce yet. So why is it such a bad thing for someone to shoot a Jake that has to go another year probably before it can reproduce, or if I go shoot a Tom that is reproducing now? Like, why do people get upset that someone shoots a Jake and it's not even reproducing yet, versus if I would not shoot that Jake and I would go shoot a Tom that is going to reproduce this year, but I took him out? Why is that? Why is it such a
valid
bad thing that
question.
you shoot a Jake?
Now, don't they set the seasons up specifically so that the majority of breeding is done?
Correct.
So
correct.
that tom that we shoot theoretically has already done his breeding for the majority of his breeding is done. That Jake's
for
never
that
bred.
year, but that Tom
Yeah.
could breed for another 2 or 3 years.
I think that would be my biggest argument to that would be exactly what you said. Just the way, because like everybody always complains that, oh, our season needs to start 2-3 weeks early, or like,
Nah.
they're always
Push the
complaining
season
about.
back even farther then.
Yeah, I mean honestly, but people are always, because like, most activity, birds are firing up. You go out right now, birds are hammering, and people are always like, oh, we need to start now. Well, they do that so the birds can get bred.
Pennsylvania doesn't open till late.
Yeah, they open May.
It's always the
1st
first weekend in May. Sometimes it falls into April if it's like a split weekend
Yeah.
because of their Sunday laws, but their season's always a week or two later than ours.
and it will go till June basically.
That's cool.
Just-
I didn't know that.
Yep. And that might, I mean, they have one of the better models, I would say, for turkey hunting in their state. So maybe we should take some notes. But,
Yeah.
And the bearded hen thing needs to go away. If you can't identify a bearded
Okay.
hen, then
I was gonna
Yeah,
say
you should
that
never
too.
shoot a hen.
you should never. We've never shot one. I mean, there might have been a time when I may have when I was younger and there was more of them around, but now there's no way I'm shooting a bearded hen.
What about the fall?
I
Season?
mean,
'Cause
how
you-
many turkeys do you think get killed in the fall? Because I think, yeah,
Hey.
I'd say about 9 in the state. I mean, I know it's more than that.
I
but
don't know, man.
I would say
not
less
very-
than a quarter
There's
of a
a-
shot in the spring.
Oh, I
Absolutely.
mean,
Oh, yeah.
that's a minuscule amount. It's
But what
gotta
I'm
be.
saying is, I would argue that half of the birds killed in the fall are hens.
Yeah, just an opportunistic hunter shooting what walks by.
I would
Because
argue
you're in their
that.
deer stand.
and they say they keep that because of the tradition, right? Because guys
Yeah.
go out
That's
and
what
shoot
I-
But
in the
that's
fall.
that's the thing that
but
like
who? If we don't know anyone doing it, then who's doing it?
I do. I personally do.
You do.
Fall hunters?
Yeah.
'Cause none of our friends fall turkey hunting. None of them.
So
Or the old guys.
I know.
Are you saying you know someone that fall hunts or someone
Yes,
that shoots
I
hens?
know. Well, both. I know somebody that
We'll bring him down here.
him and I have actually got into it on social media a couple times, but he hunts out of a
Oh,
blind.
I know. You're talking
crossbow
about.
hunter.
Oh, I know.
Do I know him?
No,
You sure?
no, I don't want to
You-
bash on him.
You would probably know.
You
of
would
him.
know of him.
Yeah.
I guarantee you would know of him. But he has a decent social media following,
And he shoots hens.
and he shoots hens every year,
Really?
every single
fall.
year.
Invite him down here.
Yep.
And he's probably been doing that for. forever.
Is it a tradition? Is there a reason for it, or does he just see if his first turkey? and
Were
he
you the
shoots it
one
in
that was
fall?
talking about because it's a tradition? We were talking about
No,
this.
who was that?
It wasn't Vinny.
somebody-
Was it?
It was Vinny.
Yeah, talking about the
I don't-
tradition
I
of
don't-
it.
I know some people like to shoot a
He knows-
Thanksgiving bird.
he knows
because of the
coveted-
seasons lined up.
Coveted turkey hunters.
Yeah,
That
make
it's
it a
just
gobbler only then.
right.
Well, see, that's my argument. Like,
why is the hen still
why
in the
do-
fall
Yeah.
season?
if our population is, why do we still have
Right.
a hen season?
Yeah, that's
And this fall season is pretty new, if I remember right.
well, it's
it went away and came
they
back.
took it away for some. You had to qualify for it
Oh, I didn't even know that.
because there's counties that don't have it.
Yeah.
Like it's county by county. Like they've closed it in some counties, I believe.
Got
You
it.
got to like meet a quota in the spring in order to have it for the fall.
Oh,
Hmm.
God.
And there's a whole other conversation about baiting deer and people that are shooting turkeys on the
Yeah,
same
because I bet
property.
you any amount of money that the fall hunters are shooting them
Oh.
technically illegally.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy that I was just talking about.
Yeah.
100%.
There is
So
bait
there-
on that property that he's shooting turkeys.
100%. And that's
If-
why I
if
got
not
all,
in front of his.
that's
stand.
why I got so mad about it.
The bait has to be removed for 10 days for it to technically be legal.
Yeah, removed
And-
for 10 days.
And then, so we've, I've talked to the game warden about this in our county because we actually turned in some guys that were blasting turkeys from their back porch over bait. So they had a feeder set up in their backyard, watched them shoot turkeys. Like, okay, phone call being made. Like, we got at least. I don't like to tell on people if I don't have to. Like, it all comes back around. But
when you make it that
turkeys
easy,
off his back porch over a feeder, like,
yeah.
But anyways, the game warden basically said something along the lines of, and I don't know how you'd ever prove this. It's the intent of the bird. So if like the bird's heading towards, if your neighbor has a corn pile, your property could be illegal to hunt on because the bird's heading to that corn pile, even though you're on your property and you didn't dump it. That bird is heading to corn and you can be prosecuted.
I have heard that.
So if it's heading away from it, it's a majorly gray area because like we just had 5 corn piles surrounding our farm. Those turkeys are always baited.
Well,
so I could never legally shoot a turkey.
Didn't the game warden tell you we couldn't hunt that field anymore because of the neighbor's bait pile?
For that period of time, they got them like the next week. They got the guys, caught them red. They used the field to do a sting operation, caught them doing it again. So who knows how many birds they actually killed.
Right.
Did you guys know salt blocks count as baiting turkey? So if you're doing spring minerals, those properties are not able to be hunted for turkeys by the definition of the law. Now that's another gray area, but it's listed in the regulations as minerals and salt as a turkey bait.
When have you seen a turkey hit a mineral site?
Don't ask me these questions.
Can't answer
I guess I've never seen it.
Usually they just like drink out of the puddle or something, But
Yeah.
I have got strutters in my mineral licks before. Not there. They're not there obviously for the salt, but
yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
But according to the regulations, every property in Ohio is
I
illegal.
believe it. Yeah, I get it.
See, but there's so much gray area, man.
I've got a question. Like, okay, so we're talking about that. Like, is the ODNR addressing this? Are they addressing the turkey decline population? Does anybody know? Is the state getting involved? Like, do they see the numbers?
I would
They
say
changed
yes
the bag
and no.
limit. So
Yeah, they did change the bag limit 2 years ago. I
Yeah,
think.
2 years ago.
That's all that they've really.
Yeah.
I realize there's not much more they can do.
They've
But
moved some seasons back. So there's like 3 or 4 counties in the northern portion. They made the seasons later too.
Yeah, Lake Ashtabula and
yeah,
I don't know if Cuyahoga's in that or not, but 3 of the counties in the northeast section.
gotcha.
I was under the impression that last year the season for coon was supposed to be discussed, but I never heard anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I had been told. I had heard that multiple people were saying
That
that
they were going to get rid of it?
get rid of the season, get rid of a bag limit in a season.
Yeah, they have the list. So like you'll see it float around
Yeah.
Facebook. The list will come out every year of what they're discussing, but you don't want to know the guys that are discussing those things down at the state level because there's
I know it.
the guy who stole your farm. He's one
Nah,
of
that
them.
sounds stupid.
Really?
Oh yeah, always has been.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And that explains a lot, doesn't it?
it does.
But yeah, if they took
Yeah.
those season dates away, I think a lot more people would coon hunt in the summertime because
I would.
I mean, I'm not going
Give you
coon
something to
hunting
do.
in the middle of November
Yeah.
through our woods with dogs.
Right.
That's not happening.
Right.
And they say that doesn't affect your deer hunting, but I just don't believe it. I know there's a million examples of, the deer didn't get out of his bed when the dogs went by. Yeah, but he also didn't go by your stand 4 hours later.
Yeah.
Because he left as soon as the
Yeah.
hunters left the
Yeah,
woods. He took
I
off.
Intrusion is intrusion. You know, like
Human scent's human scent.
Yeah.
Well,
I agree.
and not to mention, does anybody know anyone that has coon dogs that can go hunt tomorrow? Like,
I
Well,
do.
we know one guy.
we know one guy that has coon dogs. That's it.
I know one.
I know
one
one guy.
One
that-
guy.
Yeah.
and he's
But,
pretty adamant
I mean,
about it.
think about it though. Like, I agree with their point. How many deer hunters do you know?
Oh,
A million?
I mean,
Yeah.
exactly. How many coon hunters do you know? You know one
Yeah,
guy.
everybody
Yeah,
knows
one
one
guy.
guy.
Well, I know one
It's all
guy.
the same
Probably
guy.
not the same guy.
I know more guys who kill them with golden marlin in their barns than they
Oh,
as actual
yes.
hunters. You
Yeah.
know?
And I'm sure back in the day, like, out of this group of guys here at the table, like 3 of us would have had coon dogs back in the day,
Yeah.
probably.
Oh, 100%.
100%.
Everybody had a coon
yeah,
dog back.
yeah,
My dad.
Well, if it's
yeah.
worth $20, I mean,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you should
My
hunt.
dad was telling me that like back in the day, like ditches next to the road that would hold water during the fur boom, there would be muskrat traps in there.
I believe that.
Oh, I believe that 100%.
So, story about the dogs and stuff just kind of came to my mind. The reason a lot of those guys that I know, like the old timers that used to do it, they can't do it anymore because 5-acre lot, 10-acre lot,
Yeah.
5-acre lot.
You can't
It's
run dogs.
impossible
You
to
just
run dogs
run
by
out of
us.
space.
There's
Yeah.
only 3 or 4 farms that are big enough where a dog
And even
is
with
gonna
that,
mostly stay on your property.
mostly, yeah.
Mostly. And we know they don't. So
Yeah.
Well, not just that, people are going to be very, very, very angry if they catch you on the trail. Now everybody has a cell cam. They see a dog running on their property, they're going to lose their mind.
Yeah.
We have
I mean, everybody in this room would lose their
Yeah.
mind.
We have
They're
a-
hunting a buck and they see someone run by with coon dogs on November 15th.
Yeah.
You guys would lose your mind.
Who would
Oh,
let somebody come?
I've done it. Yeah.
Who would let somebody come knock on your door and then, yeah, you can run coon dogs this weekend or whatever, you know? Nobody
I mean,
probably give
no.
permission.
I mean, even the summertime, like any time
Yeah.
of year, I think.
Well, I think summertime people would be
You
a
think
little bit less
Angry about it?
But
you know?
it's getting to that point,
Yeah.
where anytime,
Yeah.
anything that's on your property,
Well,
that you-
and look, a lot of these guys are. Let's just say they're paying $3,000 to hunt deer on this property
Yeah.
for the fall.
Mm-hmm.
But the landowner wants to run his coon dogs, or some other guy wants to lease it for coon dogs. It's not going to work because
Yeah.
you're going to pay all that money to hunt and then have a guy running coons at night.
Yeah.
All right, let's. I kind of want to. I'm going on a different path, but it ties all in. Okay, so like, how many farms? And getting off the turkey topic, but how many farms have you guys lost for groundhog hunting because? Oh, sorry, it got leased out, and the deer hunter doesn't want anybody on there. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I have lost so many places that I used to have permission to groundhog hunt on because now it's leased up by a deer hunter.
The farm in between where you hunted and where we hunt used to be like groundhog mecca, and we'd go hunt there and we'd film videos of it. A part of it got sold and another part of it got sold, and then we lost that one just in the last year. So it happens.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, and anytime a farm's getting leased, there goes all permissions
Oh,
for that farm.
100%. And that's
Which rightly so, the person's paying to have hunting permission on
yeah.
the farm, so
I
they're
agree
going to
with
get
that.
they're going to get their rights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Frustrating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the whole leasing thing is frustrating. We'll have to do a separate podcast on that closer to season.
I'm all about it. I would love to do a leasing podcast because it fires me up. But
Yeah.
yeah, we
'cause
want to
every
do a
year you lose
podcast
the
about
farm.
everything.
Yeah.
Really,
And for the first time, we've talked about being on the other side of that. We've talked about getting a lease if we
Right.
could,
Mm-hmm.
If the right
We could-
opportunity
Yeah.
came
if the right
And-
opportunity
with the
came
right
along.
guys, like
And-
we would entertain it.
to be 100% honest with you, we've talked about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
We don't have a lease, but we've talked about getting like a team lease just because we're tired of all the bull crap.
Yeah.
Same here. That's
We are
exactly-
very lucky because our guys and us own a lot of the land that we hunt. We wouldn't even be into it as much if we probably didn't own the land. You know, we had to deal
Yeah.
with all the
Sometimes I
stuff that
wonder
you
why
guys
we
have to
do.
deal with. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I hunt exclusively on our family's 100 acres.
yeah,
Here in
you
Ohio.
haven't probably hunted off of that in Ohio.
Nope.
Because you do all your other stuff. But yeah, I mean, yeah.
Maybe
we
that's
didn't
why
have-
you
yeah.
spent 45 days out west too.
That is part of it.
That's going to be a fall topic is the buck size decline too. We're going to talk about that in our next podcast.
That's interesting to me because I was hunting just a couple miles down the road, and I mean they're giants.
No,
Not anymore.
10 years ago.
Well, not anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, so 15 years ago, those giants you saw, there'd be 30 of them in that field.
Really?
30 of them.
We would drive around in an S10 pickup with a tripod in the back
And we'd
And a lawn
film
chair.
200-inch bucks from the road every day of the summer.
with our little handy cams when we were in,
You saw
high
3 or
school.
4,
Wow.
3 or 4 trophy class bucks. I mean, back in the day, I had one trail camera. I'd get 3 or 4 trophy class bucks on camera a month with one trail camera.
Hmm.
And that's also gone down. But off topic.
You think
Lots of hunters in a small pond.
That's what
That's what this is. It's
Yeah.
a lot of hunters in a small pond now.
100%. Well, boys, anything else we want to talk about turkeys?
We're talking about turkeys.
I mean, you did send us a list of things like, the scientific reason why you want to be on top of ridge and what owl call to
Well,
use. And
I did enjoy talking about the turkey situation more than the turkey hunting. So
Yeah.
I'm not a huge turkey hunter, but
yeah.
and that's one thing is I'm not a huge turkey hunter, but I would love to be if there was more turkeys. I
Turkey
think it
hunting
would
was
be
my
just
first love of the woods.
absolutely.
I was a turkey hunter first before I was a deer hunter.
Caleb does the hunting and I do the filming when it comes to turkey
Yeah.
hunting.
Yeah,
I used to love it, but it's not so much anymore.
That's
Yeah.
when you and I used to turkey hunt hard.
Yeah.
We went hard. We were seniors in high school. I mean, we were like going out before school started.
So school
yeah.
would start at
Oh,
like
yeah.
7:20 for us, and we would go out almost every morning
You know?
Yeah.
and like try to kill one off the roost. And if we couldn't kill one off the roost, we
We
got
had to go to
run to
school.
Yeah,
school.
run a math class.
So the cool thing is turkey hunting can be it's like a group buddy experience. There's not
Yeah.
this like fight over that buck. Like, oh man,
Well,
I've been watching him for 5 years. Like you can go out with 3 or 4 buddies and whoever gets the shot gets the shot. It's,
Yeah.
it's a lot of we've done a lot of hunts like that.
That brought up a good point because I kind of wanted to talk about that and I forgot. There's no way to like measure a turkey, right?
Nah. No, we
So, like-
we kind of touch on that. We're like beard length. I mean,
But like for real, like you don't know what it is till you shoot it. So I think that's why it's so much of like a
Camaraderie.
Yeah.
because like there's no pressure of, oh, you can't shoot the 200-inch buck that I've been hunting for 8 years or whatever. Like, oh, if you see a red head and a beard, son, it's legal.
Blast it.
Yep.
Yeah.
and they can't. They've proven that spur and beard and weight have no correlation with the age of the turkey.
age,
They've had,
Really?
yeah, because they did studies on banded birds. They shot like 5-year-old banded birds, like 5-year-old toms that had like 9-inch beards,
Yeah,
and
and worn
3/4
down little
spurs.
spurs. Just
See, that's always my argument is every what I thought was an old bird that I've ever killed had like 3/4-inch spurs. They
Yeah,
were
they're
all
worn
worn
down
down.
Yep,
Like-
they're like fat at the base.
Yep.
but then there's not much.
They're not
going
long.
On there,
They're
yeah.
not sharp
You
anymore.
can tell when a bird's an old bird just by the way they act.
Yeah.
you know.
I
If you
find
go
it,
and 5 of them come running in, strutting around your decoy like
2-year-olds.
2-year-old birds.
Yeah.
And then the one that doesn't make any sounds and comes lumbering through the woods real slow.
Yeah.
That bird's been shot at.
Gobbles once on the roost,
Yeah.
hits the ground, gobbles once, and then never says another thing.
You can tell the birds that have been shot at before
Yeah.
because they don't gobble much on the ground.
You guys find that this is a little bit off topic again, but
Wow.
this is just a
You don't say.
No way.
Do you guys find that like the coloration in the head has to do anything with like maturity or age? I've found that like the older, what I thought was an older class bird, always had like the big white head.
Yeah, like I always read or thought that it had to correlate with like excitement level and dominance
Because, like, the
per se. 'Cause
two-year-olds-
the jakes will get red, but
Yes.
they don't white up and have the long snood.
Yeah,
and,
exactly. That's my point.
Yeah.
Like the jakes and the 2-year-olds will have the reddest heads.
Yeah.
But then
But,
it
like-
has something to do with their mentation at the time because every gobbler that we spooked that's running away has a real bright red head. They never have the white head when they're running away. Yeah.
Yeah.
When they start putting at you and run away.
You know it's over when you hear the sound before you're like oh, maybe that. No.
Telescopes, and you
There
better
he
shoot.
goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
We've spooked more birds than we've killed. That's a fact.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah.
Well, do you guys have anything else to? We're at an hour 20 right now on this podcast.
Really.
That went fast.
I know it went really
It
fast.
goes
Really
insanely
fast. We didn't even talk
How much
about
of
turkey hunting.
how much of the pre-podcast is going to make the podcast?
Very little.
All right. No, I mean, I guess it's good luck to you guys. I don't. Apparently, you're not going to go out. So
Well, I don't know yet.
I am. Me and Kevin are.
No, I told these guys I'd film them.
Yeah.
okay.
I don't know if I'm gonna buy.
I think we're gonna hit up a little bit of public probably next weekend, but
100%. We need to go down south.
My wife wants to shoot a turkey this year, so
I had 2 years ago. We went down south a lot. Was it 2 years ago or 3 now?
Well, the only reason we went down south a lot because there was
No turkeys
zero
up here.
birds here.
We had
We didn't even have a gobble.
Well, there was a lot of
Wow.
birds down south. I missed one on the second or third time we went down. I missed a bird, and there was days we had at least 6 or 7 different birds gobbling.
yeah.
But I mean, you got to go a mile. You know, we were
Yeah,
a mile or more
yeah.
in, and
Yeah.
the whole 9 yards. But I did get close. We used the collar behind hunter sneak up tactic, and he got to like I don't know 40. I'm gonna say 45, but you know he's probably 60. But I missed him, but that would have been really cool. But yeah, I mean there was still some good turkey hunting down
Yeah.
south on public, and we ran into the last day. We ran into a group of Amish.
I would say, don't say the word.
Not to rag on the Amish, but the last day we were parked there getting all our stuff out,
Are you serious?
and a van pulled up.
Amish turkey hunt?
Oh,
Van
my God.
pulled up.
yeah, yeah, they
Yeah.
do.
Big
Kidding
time.
me?
Van.
I thought they were just deer hunters.
No.
So that day we didn't hear any gobbles or see any turkeys. That last day
I
was.
say
a
you
bust,
can make
but-
the argument that they like turkey hunting better.
yeah.
Yeah.
I would
Really?
agree. I
Plus-
would definitely.
See, from my experiences, I always knew that, like, obviously I was exaggerating. I always knew Amish enjoyed turkey hunting, but from my experiences, I would say that they hunt deer more
Well, we don't hunt deer down there anymore because of that.
because of the Amish.
Yeah.
I mean, they just pull up in vans and 12,
Yeah, I mean,
13 of them get
yeah.
out, and then
You're talking gun season?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we used to go down to Southern Ohio and hunt public land for
Yeah,
gun
and
season.
do
A
some
group
deer
of guys.
drives.
Yeah, the whole 9
Yeah.
yards. Saying, the guys that they had names for the ridges and hats made. I mean, it was a lot of fun. We were just teenagers. We were
Yeah, yeah.
kids, tagging along, and it was a great time. But and then about I don't know, 10, 12, 13 years ago, the Amish just came in and, I mean, by the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. It's not even safe. It's not safe.
Yeah, and that's a conversation for another day, and that has a lot to do with the bag limits for deer, how you can go to another county to increase your bag limit. So they'll shoot all their deer at home, and then, if we go to Southern Ohio, we can shoot 2 more deer each.
Go down to Guernsey, and you can shoot your other 2.
How'd you know that's where it was? Were you there?
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
I was one of the Amish looking fellas running around.
It was so much fun, but it's just not. It's one of those things, and maybe to tie it into what we're talking about tonight. One day we're gonna be sitting here talking about how turkey hunting used to be great and how we see birds and how we don't even do it anymore. Kind of like you do. You're not hunting it right now.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to give it a college try this year. We're going to be hitting it hard in a lot of different states. So you'll be able to see us in the next few weeks, whether we liked it or we didn't like it.
Yeah, so we're hunting at least 4 states on film. And then our guys might go to a 5th. We'll see.
See, my thing is, I kind of want to touch base on what you just said. My thing is, like, I love turkey hunting, and, like, I wish I could do it, but I feel like not participating
is helping,
and that's what I'm doing.
You feel like you're about to cry, Jerry. You're like half
I was
gone.
yawning. Yeah.
I think he's gonna cry. I feel like he's about to cry.
No, I mean, like,
Matt's over there, like,
dude. I've probably killed. I don't want to say I've killed probably 12, 14 birds. I've killed probably just as many birds in Kentucky as I have in Ohio, and it's like, and I'm only 27 years old. So do the math. Like, I've only been out of high school for a little bit of time, and like, I just. Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that.
Do you think you'll ever get back into it?
If the population gets a little,
if the population was better right now,
so I know
you'd be shooting
I
them
know
this year.
of like 3 flocks that I could hunt that have birds, but it's like 1 or 2 longbeards, and I know for 100% fact it's like 1 or 2 longbeards, and I'm just like, man, I just don't want to do that. But that's just me. Mm-hmm. I have no problem with anybody else going out and turkey hunting.
We're gonna hunt turkeys hard.
Like, I have no problem with it. It's just me personally. Like, if we went down to Southern Ohio, I might buy a tag.
Yeah.
But around us, I haven't hunted in 2 years.
There's an 80% chance you see me with a Jake this year.
All right. We told our brother he's not allowed to shoot a Jake this year. He got all out of his system last year. It was a 3-yard shot, too, on video. I mean,
wow.
It's like
right outside the ball.
I mean, he couldn't have run his neck. Because they're Jakes.
Yeah.
And there they are, 8 of them. Just standing
I told
there.
myself I'd stop shooting Jakes if I shot 4. Like
4?
After my first 4.
All right, Jared, you're not killing it.
I think everyone's allowed 1. I mean, my first turkey was a Jake, and then that was it.
We can get
He shot one in the fall, actually. We didn't talk about that.
I did shoot a
You
Jake,
shot a Jake
with my bow,
with your bow in the fall.
My first turkey was a huge long beard, but I potentially shot half of it.
Well, why don't you tell the story?
My
real
buddy
quick.
and I, we were hunting. There was 3 of us. We were hunting on a buddy's
You were
property.
much younger.
He was
less
caught.
experienced.
Yeah, the buddy that owned the property. We didn't have calls or anything. We just took our shotguns, and I mean, if a single bird came in, he was going to shoot first and everything. So he was sitting kind of in front of us off to the side, and he called, and this huge longbeard comes in, and he had his gun down because he was working his slate call, and he literally, this bird just comes in, gives us the show. First bird I had seen at 20 yards, and we're just sitting there waiting for him to shoot it, and he never shoots it, and it just kind of like moseys its way off, and it's at like 60 yards.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, his gun is still sitting on the ground. Like, he is clearly not going to shoot this thing, and it's about to go over this hill. And the other guy that was with me, he was sitting, literally, we were like both on the sides of a tree. And I looked at him, and I was like, should we shoot at it? I mean, I was like, it's 60 yards, but it's like, it's right there, and he's clearly not going to shoot it. So I was like, on 3, we both pull up and shoot. And as soon as we shoot, I mean, it just clobbered that thing. So I technically claim half.
So we've had some shared birds too. Yeah. Just like the first guy misses, so the second guy hits it, and then it and then it's like, oh yay. But team effort.
When we cleaned that bird, somebody clearly hit it like square, and somebody hit it low, pretty low. So you never know.
You live and you learn. If you're listening to this podcast, don't do that.
No, don't do that.
But everybody's young and dumb at one point in time, so. But I think, unless you guys have something, I think that was a great podcast.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I really enjoyed talking. And I know for all the listeners that it wasn't like our tactic. Our first 3 episodes in our turkey series was very tactical.
Yeah.
We wanted this one to be more of like a BS session. And I really, actually, I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're the perfect guys to be on.
Yeah.
Mission
liked it.
We'll be your guys for
I
that.
liked it. So, Kev, why don't you wrap us up, and then we'll.
Yeah, so why don't you guys let the listeners know where they can find you on social media, YouTube?
Siman Brothers Outdoors on
With an
all
A.
handles.
Simon with an A.
Simon with an A should pop. If you type it in on YouTube, hopefully his bear film pops up. It should be what pops up first.
And that thumbnail is.
It's been doing
Yeah,
pretty good.
that's so
Yeah.
sweet.
It's been doing really well.
And we're 3 weeks. We'll be starting the new one. So
Yeah.
I like that.
Very cool.
Yep.
Okay, well, we got a closing question, so I'd like both of you guys to answer, what have you learned in deer hunting or hunting in general that you can apply to your everyday life?
So I've thought about this because I've listened to your podcast before, and everyone says the same thing. They say, "Oh, patience,"
He has listened.
but I go only to certain ones. Because I could care less about competition archery. No offense.
Offense taken.
So here's a good one. When you know an area as good as like I know my area, or you guys might know your areas, like I know my area like the back of the hand, you might think that you have the story or know about what this buck's doing or what's going on with this deer, and then someone kills it 5 miles away and shows you 1,000 trail camera pictures of it. So in life's the same way. Like you might think that you have an idea of what's going on with something or somebody, and there's an entirely other story and group of people that have some insight in it, and you're just so far off base. Because how many times have we found a picture of a shed even of a buck that someone found 3 miles away? You're like, he had both horns on my property last night.
Yeah.
And now this picture's popping up on social media 3 miles away. So you're never going to have the full picture.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. I like that a lot.
And patience.
That's right.
yeah, and mine's basically just live in the moment, enjoy the little things, because looking back 5 years from now, you don't know where you're going to be at, what you're going to be doing. So enjoy the little things while you're doing them. You might be on a crappy hunt, sucky hunt, crappy trip, but just enjoy the fact that you're out there doing it, because it may be the last time you are able to do that, and you never realize it in the time. So enjoy it.
Ain't that the truth?
Like when your brother shoots a buck on the first day and then you spend 5 days hunting and don't even see a single deer from stand. It's like, I know about that. And so these guys.
Dirty dog.
And I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I bet you did. Every morning you wake up,
Yeah.
or everybody's coming back from
Walk out of
hunting.
the garage
Isaac's
at
like,
9
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't even have food ready for us when we got back to camp either.
Yeah, he just woke up.
I thought, man, at least have breakfast for us.
He was debating on going down hunting in Kentucky.
Yeah, I
while we
was.
were up there.
You should
You
have.
should have. Yeah.
It only takes you one day.
You would have
might as
came
well.
back with a buck. Like,
Oh.
it's like, hey, Isaac, we're done a Kentucky
I couldn't
today.
just rub it in that much.
Well, someone made us feel bad for the rest of the week, so he couldn't even like gloat at all because it would have been out of place that week.
Yeah. I don't know what to say to that. All I can say is I'm excited for this year.
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right, let's wrap this up.
Alrighty. Well, thank you guys for joining us on this podcast. We had a lot of fun.
A lot of laughs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, thanks
Appreciate
for
it.
having us.
Yeah, appreciate
Absolutely.
Alrighty. Doesn't matter what you've done in the past. You can always be born again, and born again is out.
it. Peace.